everyone, and welcome to the first episode of Inside Aravaipa. This is a sort of a reboot of a show that we used to do a few years back called Aravaipa Trail Talk, and I wanted to bring this show back, give us a chance and a platform to talk about everything that's going on with Aravaipa, Aravaipa Running, Aravaipa Rides. We've got a lot happening these days, and I wanted a place to talk about it each and every week directly with all of you. So hopefully you guys will tune in to this new show. And if you clicked on this one in particular, you might be expecting me to talk about America's toughest 100-miler, which I'm definitely going to do. But this show is going to be about so much more than just that. So we are going to be talking about the Jigger Johnson 100-miler, which just took place this last weekend as part of Aravaipa's White Mountain Endurance Division. But I've got an entire agenda of things that I want to talk about, and then we will have a Q&A section at the end. So if you have questions in the chat, I've got producer Bryce here in the room with me as well. Yeah, there you go. Pop yourself on screen.
There we go.
You can pop yourself on. Oh, we might have crashed. What happened? No,
we're good.
We're good. We got me and Bryce in the studio this week, and in the future, we do have additional seats at this table, so I can envision us bringing in remote guests from events that just happened over the weekend. We might bring people in studio. We definitely want to interact with all of you in the chat, so super excited to be bringing this show back. We'll be doing it about 60 minutes each and every week. We're aiming for Tuesdays at noon going forward, Arizona time. So bear with us. This first show might have a few kinks in it. It might be a little raw and real. I'm fairly unscripted, just so you all know. But I definitely, hopefully it will provide some value or keep you all in the loop as to everything going on with Aravaipa. So maybe before we kick things off, Bryce, I might just talk about our outline for today's show. We're going to jump pretty quickly into Jigger Johnson recap, which is where we're going to discuss, maybe Bryce and I will both discuss, like, is this America's toughest 100-miler? Because I think it is debatable. I think it is possible that it is. It's such a new event. But yeah, we're going to kick things off. I'm going to kind of reintroduce the show, myself and Aravaipa, for people that might be new to the channel, new to Aravaipa in general, may not know myself or what we do. And we do so much now that it's kind of hard to keep track. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. Then we're going to get into Jigger Johnson recap, which is the event over the weekend. I want to dive into our White Mountain Endurance Cup standings. We have an update to the Tucson Marathon we're going to talk about. There's a fire up on the Mogollon Rim that is affecting the Mogollon Monster. We are going to talk about films that are in the works for some of Aravaipa Running's events. We are going to do a preview of the Desert Runner Trail Series coming up in October. And then we're also going to preview the two Aravaipa races happening this weekend, one in Arizona, one in Colorado. What else? We've got, we want to talk each week about any race registrations that are opening up. We've got one that just opened up. And what else? We are going to talk about a division of Aravaipa Running called Steep Life Media, both Ultra Running Magazine and Mountain Outpost. So we'll have some updates with those. And then we're going to do a Q&A section. So that's a little bit of an outline of today's show. I'm sure we will link those in the show description if you want to just skip ahead to any of those. But yeah, let's start out. Let's take a step back. My name is Jamil Coury. I'm the founder, owner of Aravaipa, and I started my race directing journey back in 2008 at the Javelina 100, and then started Aravaipa in 2009. I myself got into trail and ultra running in 2005, which is now a long time ago. I've been running ultras coming up on half my life, so 20 years in just a couple of weeks. So my first ultra I ever ran was at Nardini Manor. It's a 500-meter dirt loop back in 2005, and that is one of our races this weekend. So it's pretty cool. It's coming full circle. But then Aravaipa itself, we started as just a local trail running company here in Phoenix. And my whole vision at the time is I wanted to create a series of trail races that visited all of Maricopa County's regional parks. And that initial series that I created was called the Desert Runner Trail Series, which kicks off, I think, for like our 16th or 17th season now, something like that, coming up in October. So we're going to dive more into that. But yeah, that's just a little bit of an overview. This show, so we had a show called Aravaipa Trail Talk that happened for a couple of years. It was hosted by myself. I think Jubilee was a big part of it, a couple of our other staff. And this is kind of our attempt to get back at that. So be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel if you enjoy this show, if you want to take part in it. And we hope to see you guys. In addition to being available on our YouTube channel, we are also going to post this in video and audio format on Spotify if you just search Inside Aravaipa. So yeah, Bryce, let's get into, I think, the meat of this show. We are going to talk about the Jigger Johnson Ultras, and there's actually 3 distances. So there is a 100-mile, 50-mile, and 20-mile. And we inherited the White Mountain Endurance series of events a couple years back. And this is, I would say, probably their flagship race. It's a rugged 100-mile race in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. And if you haven't been up there before, this is some of the most rugged terrain, I think, in probably all of the US. And the founders, or the people that had this event series before us, originally, I think it was a 50-mile 100K, and then they added the 100-mile distance to it. And it's a pretty low field size. Like, it's not your standard 100-mile distance in terms of hundreds of participants. We just had 53 signups this year. And if I go to our results, and we had 27 finishers. 39, 44, 42, 3, 4, 5, 48 starters. So I'm going to do a little bit of math here on that. 27 out of 48. So 56% finish rate. This race has a 54-hour cutoff, which is, I think, pretty high for hundreds. Like Hard Rock, which I think is maybe widely considered to be the kind of the gold standard for toughest hundreds out there, has a 48-hour cutoff, and this one's 54. So our winner this year was Peter Bonito, and he took 31 hours, 26 minutes. Our women's winner was 39:13. And those stack up pretty good to the all-time bests, I believe. I'm actually going to go to ultrarunning.com. And we can check out the all-time for 100-mile. We'll go to our top times here. So this just gives you, this is a pretty cool tool over at ultrarunning.com, which is part of Ultra Running Magazine, but we can take a look at our top times. So Keith Nadeau last year ran a 30-hour, 27-minute. So we see Peter Bonito's time here was the 4th fastest all time, and 31:26. So yeah, no one is yet to break 30 hours on this course. And if we go to our women, we are seeing only 2 women have ever broken the 40-hour mark. And there's only ever been 13 women that have finished this race under the 54-hour cutoff. So I think, yeah, when I look at what is the toughest 100-mile out there, like I would say like Hard Rock, Ure 100 probably come to mind as being these high altitude, crazy amounts of gain. I believe Jigger Johnson has close to 30,000, 27,000 according to our race website. So it doesn't have the most amount of climbing, and our high point is like around 4,000 feet. But that will get people pretty close to tree line up there in the White Mountains. But I think, have you been on this course, Bryce?
I've done South Moat. So I want to say I went like 5K up, 5K down.
Okay, so yeah, South Mode is going to be the turnaround point here for the 100 mile, and it's the start of the 50 milers. So you've gone up from there doing that first climb out of there.
Yeah, I started from where the aid station's located, and it starts off like a nice crushed gravel path, and then it turns into boulders and roots and just straight up the mountain. There's no switchbacks. Coming from Arizona, like I've heard that the East Coast is technical, but that like changed my whole perspective is just doing that one little trail. It's gnarly.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a few factors with this race that could bring it into contention, and I think the technicality of the trails out there. There's also more limited markings at this race. It's kind of more, I think in general, there's a more self-sufficient attitude
Totally
up in the White Mountains, and with the White Mountain endurance races, the length of distance and time in between aid stations too. Like there's only a handful of aid stations in this race. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 aid stations basically. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it's like 5 to the turnaround point, and that could take you 12 to 24 hours.
Yeah, totally.
And then same on the way back. I believe they actually cut off the last aid station on the way back. So there's even one less. So, you know, there's an extreme amount of like personal kind of responsibility in the Jigger Johnson 100. And, you know, you're out there.
It's like the peak of self-sufficiency in like endurance sports, basically. I mean,
Yeah.
we've even seen footage from like cell phone video out there, and they're going through trails that you can't see because they're in shin deep water. Like you're going through, I mean, it's just not a very runnable course from my perspective, from like the outside perspective, having not been there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely high on my list to get out there myself, but yeah, I think like there'd probably be another good place. Run 100s, I think, is a pretty cool website that I've gone to before that shows. I think this is like another data point. Like, what is the winning time of a race? And I'm just kind of scrolling down through here, trying to see like, are there any that have a course record that's over 30 hours? I'm just scanning through here. There's like 255 100-milers listed on this website. And I'm trying to see, there's kind of some one-offs that are pretty high. There's one actually called Farrell Mountain in Georgia that has a 34-hour course record, but there was only 3 finishers. Crown of the Crest in Nebraska, pretty high. Froggy Mountain in Virginia. I've never heard of that race. That's so funny. There's one finisher, 55 hours. What else do we got here? I'm trying to see at least ones that have a fair number of finishers. I mean, with only 27 at Jigger, it's not a lot to speak of. Creed. Okay. So that I think is another interesting one. Have you heard of that race?
Yeah, Creed 100.
The Creed 100. So that one I think it's another one of these like pretty technical, pretty kind of minimally supportive type aid stations, or just a long time between aid. It's in the San Juan Mountains. I think it shares a little bit of the course with Hard Rock, but it's mostly unique a little bit to the east side, but it's very high up, very remote. And they've had historically a very low finish rate. I think I heard it was like in the 30s finish rate overall. So I think that one's probably up there. The high five is on this list. That's more of I think like a non-permitted event. That's more of a cross-country race. The Wyoming Range 100 is a newer race. 26 hours looks like the course record for that one, with close to 30,000 feet of climb.
Baby dragon.
There's a lot of hundreds with like 2 or 3 finishers. It's super interesting. We could probably do an entire chart of these. What else am I seeing here? Dark Divide in Washington. That one is like 27-hour course record. What else do we got here? I mean, the course record for Hard Rock these days is kind of insane.
That's crazy.
Like I remember for the longest time, like when Kyle Skaggs broke 24 hours, it was like a monumental achievement. And then now they're running like 22, 21 hours there, which is pretty wild. What else am I seeing? Yeah, there's a lot of these like really low. 32 hours for Hare Mountain in Arkansas with 11 finishers. That's super interesting. So I don't know, would love to hear from you guys. Like what have you run out there that you think is the hardest? Dead Man Peaks, 26 hours in New Mexico with 5 finishers. Yeah.
It's also
I think it's in contention for sure.
It's interesting this year. If you look at like the top 4, they're all locals. They're all from New Hampshire. I think being a local at this race and knowing the terrain really gives you an advantage. Allison Powell coming in from Montana was the first person in the top. She was 5th. She was the first person not from New Hampshire.
Yeah, she's super strong though with through hiking and all kinds of FKTs to her name.
Cocodona, she's a pretty good run.
Cocodona as well. So yeah, I think this race will probably continue to be dominated by locals, I would imagine. But it would be fun to get some other elite runners out here to see what they can do. This race is a sellout race, so I think we've seen around 54 entrants the last 2 years. With the way that we structure having the 100-mile, 50-mile, and 20-mile now, we completely max out our permit. We take around 300 signups in total between the weekend of events, so it'll probably never get to be like a really large field size, but I think it's definitely one to keep on the radar. The 20-miler is part of the WME Cup, which I did want to talk about next, so maybe we can transition into that coming up. So if we go on our website here, we can go down to under events, the WME Cup. So this is something that, and I don't know, do we have any good comments, Bryce?
Yeah, I mean, we got a bunch of people riffing about Jigger Johnson, talking about if anyone has completed Jigger twice.
Interesting. Stephen Blaze was talking about that. Doesn't think so. Yeah, I'm not sure. Might be like a one and done for now. There was a really good podcast, the WME podcast with Marilyn, with the Fusiles and with Patrick Karen that went out, and they were featured in we have a documentary about Jigger Johnson called Every Mile Earned, and it was about the 2023 edition, the inaugural running of the 100-miler there. Gives you a little bit of an insight. That was a really tough year with the weather, and they didn't make it that year, but then came back and finished in 2024. So yeah, we might see some returners next year, possibly. No one's dumb enough to go twice. We'll see. Okay, so yeah, switching over to the Cup. So we wanted to put together a collection of sub-ultra featured races as part of the White Mountain Endurance Series. And we started this last year. This is our second year. So this is made up of 4 races. We kick it off with Chikora. Then we went to Baldface. then Jigger Johnson 20 mile, and we'll wrap it up next month at Kilkenny Ridge. And this is kind of a competitive look at racing in the White Mountains. And this has been really cool to see. We've had really great turnout. I don't know if we quite sold out Baldface this year, but I think it was close. But I think Chikura and Jigger were for sure sold out. Kilkenny, I think we've got maybe 50 spots left in that race. But it's a really cool way to, test your mettle against the mountains, against the competition up in the Northeast. And I'm going to take a look and see if our standings are updated. They are. So Haley Heinrich, who
heater.
Yeah, is on a tear here. She's part of the racing team up there, but she is 3 for 3 so far this season. And then for the men, Tracy Carter hasn't taken a win at a race, but has been consistent in the 90s for all of these, which is pretty awesome. We'll have to kind of maybe dive into these individually.
And speaking of Haley tearing it up, Haley is the Aravaipa racing team. She's done, I think, every race so far in the series, and she lost her singlet in this last one. It got completely torn up. So I don't know if that says something about Jigger Johnson and like how the terrain is.
Oh, just got slashed?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep, we have a singlet down.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, if we look at the results of Jigger, Eli Nixon from Portland, Maine, you see a lot of locals up here. There's a handful that'll drop in, but this is mostly a locals competition here. So 28-year-old from Portland, Maine came down 3 hours, 34 minutes for the win. Buck Naked, second, 3:46. And then Carter Tracy, was third in 3:50. So yeah, Carter, just with like a podium there, was third at Baldface and was third at Chikura. So it just goes to show you, like, keep showing up, keep doing well. You're going to be in contention. See if you can better it at Kilkenny Ridge. And then let's look up for the women. Yeah, Haley was on top. Heidi Allen showed up to Chikura this year. That was cool.
Yep.
You can see kind of these results. And then Jigger Johnson, again, kind of a couple randoms popping in from Colorado, from California, but mostly a lot of locals. So
Samantha Steinbeck is another one on the racing team. This is their first year.
From Vermont.
Yep.
So yeah, Haley with about an 18-minute win margin on that last one. And then Kilkenny will be coming up next. So we just have, 51 spots left. Take a quick look at our entrance list. See if you notice any names on this one. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of locals high up. I mean, handful. Looks like 82 entered so far. Haley not registered yet. Or is she going to be off doing something else? I know she doesn't only race the White Mountain races.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah,
okay.
TBD.
Nice. Sweet. So yeah, that's our WME Cup standings at the moment. Moving on to our next agenda item. This is kind of a big one. We are going to be taking a look at the Tucson Marathon. So it's one of 2 road races on our calendar. These are both events that we took over from other organizers, and I think this will be our 4th year of organizing Tucson. And there was a pretty big announcement that came out a couple months ago from Boston Marathon. And so I might even just pull up their rule change. So let's see here. So obviously qualifying for Boston is a really big deal in the marathon world. They have qualifying times, but then oftentimes you have to be under that, like, because a lot of people will run these qualifying times. But there's a new caveat to that, the downhill results indexing. So this is the new thing. And Tucson Marathon is a net downhill race, so that will come and be a factor here in a little bit. But essentially, there's races like the Revel Series. There's extreme downhill marathons that people have been using to qualify for Boston. And for whatever reason, they wanted to set some sort of boundaries on these. And they're going to start applying a time penalty onto net downhill races. So the first one takes effect if you're over 1,500 feet of net downhill. You're going to get a 5-minute time penalty up to 2,999 feet. Above that, so from 3,000 to 5,999 feet, you'll get a 10-minute time penalty. And then any course with a net downhill of 6,000 feet or greater is just straight up not going to be allowed anymore. They're just pulling the plug on those completely. So we had a course change with Tucson that went into effect last year, which we were very excited about. We moved our start line to Biosphere 2. We moved our finish line to Pima Community College. We ran all the way through Oro Valley. We were on the bike path. I think overall it was really great. We had an event record set, 2 hours, 12 minutes. So Tucson is now like a very fast marathon course. And I think we did reduce the net downhill slightly. I forget what it was before. It might have been close to 2,000 feet before.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
before the course change.
Before the course change last
I
year.
want to say, yeah, over
I thought it was like close to 2,000. But we were at 1,549 feet is what we ended up with. So when this rule change came out, we were affected by this 5-minute time penalty, which, you know, it is what it is. You have to kind of live within the bounds of these. But we, at first, we weren't sure we were going to make any changes, but we took a closer look at it. And we realized that if we just adjusted the start and finish lines of the race by a little bit and kind of tweaked them, we could get it under 1,500 feet. So Tucson is now looking at a net downhill of 1,493 feet, according to our certifier, who's recertified the course now, or has done it and is working on submitting the paperwork. So we will be a completely Boston legal net downhill course with no time penalty, which is quite exciting. And I wanted to provide a little bit of extra context. We have this all updated on our website. We just made this announcement. So what do you like, Bryce? Should I pull up the Strava map?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pull that up here into our own page. So I'm going to zoom in. So we're going to go up to Biosphere, and I'm going to put the satellite, maybe the hybrid map on. So we're looking at Biosphere here. So this is such a cool start line for a marathon. This is where they locked the scientists in. They call them biospherians. And Biosphere 1, of course, is Earth. So they wanted to create this self-sustaining colony that is mimicking like what you would maybe create on a different planet, like on Mars. And so in 1991, they locked these researchers, these biospherians in here. I think for 2 years, they were locked inside of this facility. As you can see, this is like a glass pyramid structure. There's glass domes. These other buildings are all tied in. I think they almost act like lungs.
Yeah, so I just watched a whole documentary about Biosphere 2. So what those two circles are they're lungs. So it's just a big upside down bowl, and inside is a huge metal plate, and it is suspended, and they have it connected to like chains that go up to the top. And so they can control the actual pressure of the environment of the entire biosphere by raising or lowering these plates with like these huge cranes. So interesting.
Yeah, it's all tied together. They've got different ecosystems. They have all kinds of biodiverse plant life. I think there's ponds and all kinds of stuff that's inside there. Pretty fascinating stuff. But this is all taken over by the U of A after all those kind of experiments were done. And it's kind of a really, I think, a world-class start line for a marathon.
And you could actually go inside, like before
Yeah.
the race starts. Like they open the doors. And so last year it was cold, and so there was a lot of people kind of like staying warm inside.
Well, it's nice and warm in there. Exactly.
Right.
It's an indoor space. So yeah, you can actually walk into the Biosphere, this great lawn here. This is where we had all of our restrooms and people are formed up. And then if you can see, they walked down. Our start line was just in this courtyard road on kind of the south side of Biosphere. So you kind of walk through. It looked kind of otherworldly, honestly.
Yeah.
It's all lit up. You know, it's dark out there. It's lit up in the morning. There's these domes, these really cool architectural buildings throughout. And it's pretty cool, iconic start. So in order to adjust for this new start, you'll notice that the new start line is now down here. So like if we had our choice, we would not have moved the start line, but we felt like this was in the best interest of all the runners. So for those of you that are running Tucson this year, instead of your start line being up here, it's going to be down here. It will require a little bit more of a walk down. So we're going to have, the plan is a kind of a dual staging area. So both spots will be open for you to hang out pre-race. We will still have a lot of our activation up at the Biosphere on the Great Lawn, but we will also have a secondary activation down here. So we will have additional restrooms at the start line. So if you want to go straight down to the start, do your warm up down here, use the restroom, you're more than welcome to. If you want to go up to the Biosphere, hang out on the Great Lawn, we're going to have a DJ up there. We're going to have a DJ down at the start line. You can go inside the Biosphere, kind of give you options. And then at some point, we're going to round everyone up from the Great Lawn and from inside Biosphere. And you just have to walk down to the start line, get into your corrals for the start of the race. So yeah, there is a bit of a climb out of the Biosphere here before you kind of get on the road. But yeah, we just wanted to walk over that. Like we felt like we were close enough to that 1,500 foot target that we felt like making that change would be important. And then at the finish line, if you did run with us last year, it's a slight change at Pima Community College. This was a great finish line, I thought. We did not have on-site spectator parking at the old marathon finish. And so last year, you ran all the way on the bike path, finished right into the main area here. And that was our big finish. This year, we had to pull it a little bit closer, and our end point is right there, which is, just a little bit closer. This was a little bit higher up, which is why we did that. So yeah, that's our update on Tucson. Okay, Mogollon Monster. Let's get into this one.
Oh boy.
So probably go to IncyWeb. So there was a fire that broke out on the Mogollon Monster course about a week ago, I'm going to say. And it is going to be impacting the race this year, unfortunately. So
The Washington Fire.
It's called the Washington Fire. If I zoom in here, we can see the town of Payson. You can see the Mogollon Rim is very, it's the edge of the Colorado Plateau. So we can see right up here is the Washington Fire. It's 21% contained, 515 acres. It actually has not grown in acreage since the second day of the fire, so maybe 5 days now. So they are doing a really great job of containing this fire, but there is a forest closure that went into effect 3 days ago. And we are still working through this. So if you're signed up for Mogollon, like we've not canceled this race, we are pretty confident we're going to have a race course to run. We just don't yet know what that will be. And part of it will depend upon if the forest opens back up. So if you can see here on this high level view, The forest is currently closed wherever this red dotted line is. If you are tuning in on YouTube or Spotify. So in the center of your screen, if you can see my cursor, that's Washington Park Trailhead, and that is an aid station. General Springs is normally a crew area up here on top of the rim. So we aren't for certain if we will have access to the trailhead yet. I think the trail down is currently on the edge of the closure. Normally you would run along the Arizona Trail, which is part of the closure at the moment. Pincho Cabin, the aid station prior, would be up here in this corner. It looks like we would be able to get there. And then we'd be able to run on the Houston Brothers Trail, I think, a little bit. And then we would be able to run along this forest road potentially. So the biggest issue is that the Highline Trail itself is kind of the southern boundary of this fire at the moment. And so from right now, we would not be able to use the Highline Trail heading west unless this closure is lifted. So we would need to either do what we did last year, which is stay on the eastern part of this course, which we did last year. We could possibly do again. We'd have to either run down on these forest roads around the closure and then hop back onto the Highline Trail near Camp Geronimo and the Geronimo aid station, or maybe it will open back up. So we're kind of in a little bit of a wait and see. I know the race is coming up very soon, so that's just kind of the updates we have for now. I know that Noah, our race director, is working on this, talking to the Forest Service as we speak. So hang tight, and we should hopefully have some information for you guys this week. Anything to add?
Just a reference to the Mogollon 100K. I think somebody's hoping that comes back in the chat.
Oh, the Mogollon 100K. I don't think that will come back. This is the largest field we've ever had for the 100 miler. I think we have 220 signed up. I don't think we've ever had over 200 before. So, this race is now a sellout race. We've got a wait list. Watch Duty if you guys I don't think you can access Watch Duty on desktop, but Watch Duty, I think, is probably the best fire app out there. That's the one I use. They've got photos and different things. And then Noah was telling me if you subscribe to them, you can actually see the flight paths of the air tankers.
No way.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. Someone was watching it from our radio team, and they were dropping, they could see the flights all day long on that first day it broke out, just dropping water, dropping fire retardant.
That's
It's
so
kind of cool.
There is a button on there that says view on web browser.
Oh,
right next to the Google Play.
thank you.
What I'm here for.
It's just right in front of my eyes. Oh, here we go. Perfect. So yeah, this is the app. You can see all the fires going on. If I click on the Washington fire, it does give some updates. This is cool. There's links. These daily updates from the Tonto National Forest have been really great to check out. What's this one? These are the evacuations. Some communities are go. So you can kind of scroll back in time and see all these updates. I was going to try and see if I could see some of these. Sometimes they post photos. So, but yeah, highly recommend if, you have never heard of Watch Duty, check it out. But you can see there, that's
It even shows the spots on the outside of it. So
yeah, they map these things pretty extensively with drones at night too, to pick up all these little spot fires. So I think they are currently holding it. I think, is 31 the actual Highline Trail? Or is that a forest road? Yeah, that's the actual Highline Trail. So you can see it looks like it hasn't quite hit the trail, but I'm sure they're using it as a bit of a backstop. So I don't know. It's possible. It's possible they get this thing under control and they open things back up for us. We're hopeful. So
they did do a lot of erosion prevention on like that whole section within the last few years.
yeah,
Hopefully that helps.
I mean, it's a good sign that it's staying within its current footprint as of the last like 5 days. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out. We'll definitely check back in next week, and we're hoping for positive news. Films in progress. So we've got, I wanted to just talk, I don't know if I have anything to put on screen right now, but you could just maybe go to me full screen. So yeah, we love to invest in films here at Aravaipa, and we've done many different ones over the years. We've done some really big ones surrounding Cocodona lately. We had the Chase, of course, the 2024 Cocodona 250. We've got a film in the works from the 2025 race. It's called The Cutoff, and it's going to be following the back of the Packers and the DFLs from, we followed 3 of the 5 DFLs from the first 4 years of the race. They were back in the race this year. I'm not going to give away any spoilers, but we're excited to be doing a film on, yeah, kind of the back of the pack, people that are chasing cutoffs. Like, what is that like?
Yeah.
And an inside look. I myself chased cutoffs really for the first time this summer at Western States when I rolled my ankle at mile 4. And I found myself 30 minutes from cutoff at Duncan Canyon, mile 24 of Western States. And I heard the 3 blasts from a horn as I was leaving the aid station. I think they might do like 3, then 2, then 1, and then you're done. And I ended up finishing in golden hour. It's quite stressful. And I think it's another film by Dylan Harris, who made The Chase, and he used to be on staff with us. So I think it's going to be really well done. And we are planning on doing a film tour surrounding this film. But it's likely going to be not only this film, it's probably going to include a few other films as well. So that's a big teaser right there as to what's coming. We did tour the Chase around, which was a lot of fun. And we want to do the same thing with this one. But we also want to include some other films. So it will likely include maybe 1 or 2 other films that we make. And then we're kicking around the idea of opening it up for submissions from filmmakers. They could actually submit films to our film festival. So we're looking to tour that more in the winter or spring. So keep an eye out for that. If you have something in mind, we're really aiming for unreleased film projects. We don't want any of the films in the tour to already be out there and viewable on YouTube. We think that takes away some of the magic. So if you have something, feel free to reach out. What else? We have a film that we are making on the North Fork 50. And this follows one of our runners, Jack, who has run every edition of the North Fork 50 mile.
Even when it didn't happen during COVID, went out and self-supported, finished out the 50 mile. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so this is a race that Janice O'Grady created. She is the founder of the Quicksilver 50 in California. And when she moved to Colorado around 15 years ago, she wanted to create a race out there. And she ended up creating the North Fork 50 in the area that she lived. And it's an event that we acquired through the Bear Chase Race Series. And it's a sellout event every year. It looks like an incredible area. You're on the Colorado Trail for a while. Yeah. It's like a little bit southwest of Denver or northwest of Colorado Springs. Not like the most technical, tough 50K, 50 miler out there, but still a tough, beautiful, kind of a rolling trail race.
And look at I mean, one of the more scenic ones, even in Colorado.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's kind of a nice loop style race. It's not exactly a single loop, but it kind of loops around on itself a little bit. Definitely one to check out. But we've got a film about, Jack. He's a little bit older. We've highlighted a couple other older runners. We highlighted Janice in this film. So That one's in the works right now. It'll be coming out soon. We also have a film in the works. We just launched a couple of races in California, or took them over actually. They used to be part of Dirty Feet, and one of them, called Harding Hustle, took place in July, and we filmed with Max Jolliffe. Some of you may know him from the King of Moab. He's kind of been on the radar a lot lately. He had a DNF at Cocodona, and this was his first race back. He just won AC 100 and is going to be running Mammoth 200. But I think the unique aspect of this race for Max is that it's kind of his hometown trails. So he lives in Costa Mesa nearby in Orange County, and he trains on the Harding Truck Trail in the Santa Ana Mountains a lot. And we got the videographer that works with him on his YouTube channel to come out and film with him. And we're going to be seeing this mountain range and these trails through his eyes. And I think it's going to be pretty relatable to a lot of us in terms of like that race that's on your home trails, like the home trails that you train on every week or every month, and that local race. And I'm excited to see the visuals from this one and to check it out, because I was able to be there and it looks like a pretty awesome race.
Yeah, for sure. There's always something about like having a connection to the area, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, speaking of, I guess I could pull up our California races in general. Wanted to definitely give you guys an overview because it's pretty new for us. So if you do go to our website, this is our first season with any California events. Do you want to put me up on the screen or put the?
I think we froze. 1 second.
Awesome. Right. Hopefully you can hear me again. If you go up on our website, events, and then California events. So yeah, this is new for us. We took over a couple races from Jessica DeLine, who organizes events with Dirty Feet Productions or Dirty Feet Events in California. And we currently have 3. So Harding Hustle is that summertime hill climb up and down race that we have that film coming out. That's No Moon is coming up in September. Both of those races are in the Santa Ana Mountains. And there's a third race we took over that likely won't be coming back for a couple years called Twin Peaks 50 because of fire damage. But fortunately, both of these events were able to come back online this year. So that's No Moon, which is a reference to Star Wars. There is a giant tower that kind of looks like a moon on top of one of the peaks up there. And this race is getting a little bit short on spaces. There's only, I think, 19 spots left as of this morning. So if you are thinking about That's No Moon, actually only 18 spots left of today. So check out That's No Moon. There's a 50 mile, a 50K, and a 30K. Looks like an awesome race. I am signed up for the 50 miler, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
It might be worth doing like a Strava flyover on the website if you hit the play button.
Frozen again.
Did it?
Possibly frozen again. Like, all right, so sorry about that. We seem to be back. So this 50-mile course, just for context, if I zoom out, we are in Orange County. Well, I can't go left or right, but yeah, you're kind of just east of Anaheim in this mountain range here. A pretty burly course, so almost 10,000 feet of gain in 50 miles. And Bryce is saying we could do a Strava flyover here.
You could do like a 5 times play speed.
5 times speed.
On the right, yeah.
Okay, we're just gonna keep ramping it up. I'm gonna go 3. So yeah, we're gonna climb our way up here. I think this is a combination of trails and some dirt roads. There'll be a short out and back, and then you'll continue to go across this ridge over here. Looks like the views are going to be amazing on this course. I can imagine just kind of taking the main ridge of the Santa Ana Mountains here. Probably, oh, look at that. Look at that dive down into that canyon there. Climbing all the way back out. So this spot gets very close to the Harding Hustle course. I think it might touch it just for a moment, like right there. I think it just kisses that course and then runs back on this ridge. So it does kind of a lollipop loop here on the south end. And then it's going to link back up with the main ridge that you were on earlier. And then you're going to head all the way back down. You skip that little out and back on the way back for this 50 miler. You get a little bit of bumps along the way. And then you're going to run nice cruising down all the way back in to your finish. That looks awesome.
I know.
Yeah, I think I have to go work the live stream at Mammoth Trail Fest. Which is exciting as well, but I was like very, very excited. I was signed up for this race last year before we took it over, and it was canceled due to fire, which was a bummer, but it is back on the original course. This race looks amazing. I don't think it's a very well-known race yet, but we're hoping to change that. That's No Moon, 50 mile, 50K, 30K. Check it out. It's going to sell out this year. I'm calling it. The permit cap is 200 runners. So like it's probably going to be a sellout every year. So get in while you can is what I have to say about that.
I can't think of many races that have more time spent on a ridgeline. Like the views must be pretty awesome out there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. And yeah, hopefully someday soon we can bring back Twin Peaks 50. That one is supposed to be a crazy race. Like this race has a storied history. Like it almost happened to like just a handful of times, and then it was gone for a while. Then it came back due to fires and due to different issues. So yeah, it had like a 50 miler, I think like 16 or 17,000 feet of climbing. And it went like up and down Santiago and Majesca Peak, which you hit at Harding Hustle like a couple times. There might even be another peak in there. But anyways, we've got one more event in California. This is a new one, a little bit of a different style, hopefully different than the other current fall offerings in California. And this is a bit of a, I don't know how do I word it? Like a side project or a labor of love for Melanie Boone, our California race director. This is a 3 and 6 hour in O'Neill Park. And this is the Live Oak Odyssey. So it is on a 2.75 mile loop in O'Neill Park. So I think, different than a lot of Kira's races. Kira has races in this region as well. I know SoCal Trail has some races here. But yeah, this is just meant to be, I think, something that is maybe if you're new to trail running, this could be a good option for you. If you're new to longer distance, it's a fixed time. So you can come out and just do 1 or 2 laps, or you can really push yourself and see how many of these 2.7 mile loops you can do in either 3 or 6 hours. We're gonna have one aid station at the start finish line. But yeah, this is a brand new one. So hopefully you'll come check it out. It should be a beautiful time of year for it. And it's located kind of in that same region, on that western edge of the Santa Ana Mountains. in O'Neill Regional Park, which is one of Orange County's parks. So
pretty unique to have that much climbing in like a fixed time looped event.
yeah, it's definitely not a flat USATF certified course. So it's a trail loop with some climb, and should just be a pretty fun local race. So I got to kind of move through these things because I am running short on time today. Quick mention of the Desert Runner Trail Series. We're going to talk a lot more about this next week. This is our premier winter series. Yeah, like I think 15th, 16th year possibly. You can, we've got 3 races in the fall series, kicking off with Cave Creek, October 11th, then Pass Mountain, then McDowell Frenzy. So if you're looking for a fall series in Arizona, like something in the winter time, this is a great option for you. We've got distances for the whole family from 5K or 5 mile all the way up to 50K or 50 miles. So Pass and McDowell have epic 50-mile races. So they are worth traveling for. Like if you live out of state, definitely these are amazing epic courses. We'll talk a lot more next week. We also got the spring series you can check out January through March. We will talk more about the Sonoran Desert Cup, which is our short distance cup that debuted this last year. So stay tuned for that. But looking ahead this weekend, we've got 2 races. So Jackrabbit Jubilee. Sorry, I'm just like all over the Aravaipa site today. So this is a race at Nardini Manor. The event is sold out for this weekend. It's a small 125 person event. This is where I ran my first ultra, and might head out there this weekend and do some laps with all of you, but we do have some pretty good competition out there. It's pretty evenly split between the 12-hour and the 6-hour, and this is a night race. So it's kind of a fun vibe out there at night. Ooh, do you know Sam?
Yeah, what's the last name?
Sam Scroven, 19, third at Pass Mountain 50K. And Pirates Cove, this is Melanie Boone's race, 6 hours, did 40 miles. That's pretty cool. Taylor Scornavaco is another one of our contestants, won Hotfoot Hamster 24-hour earlier. That was actually a couple years back. Was second at San Diego 50 miler. So like, I think should be definitely one to watch. And then I know that Pete Kostelnick,
oh, that's fun.
He's going to be doing the 12-hour. So he was out here earlier in the summer at Hotfoot Hamster, won the 6-hour. I don't see what else he's training for this year, but I think, did he win Badwater?
He got podium.
He was podium at Badwater this year. Not sure why it's not showing up on Ultra Sign Up, but
I saw a pretty awesome picture of him running Badwater with a big old hoagie in his hand.
That's funny. And then Lindsay, his wife, who also was out at Hotfoot earlier this summer won, is on the racing team. Looks like we'll be out there as well doing the 6-hour. So yeah, this event is just, it's a great example of like a community event, super fun. Looks like mostly locals from the Arizona community, handful of people that have no results on Ultra Sign Up. They're probably brand new to it, which is always fun. And fixed time racing is just such a great way to get your feet wet. And like, just try something out. Like you can't DNF if you just show up. You can walk, you can run, you get 8 every 500 meters. It's really great, and it's such a fun atmosphere. So our other event is the Westminster Night Trail. So this is kind of our attempt at an insomniac race in the Denver, Colorado area. So if you know our night races in Phoenix, this is a race that is held in Westminster near Boulder at Stanley Lake. It's a beautiful looking park. and we've got distances all the way up to 50K. There's like a little look at the course. So you're going to be, start finishes over at this middle school here. You're going to be looping kind of a horseshoe shape around Stanley Lake. We're going to have a DJ out, DJ Jumpsuit. I saw him at the Sherman Aid Station at Hard Rock this year and then connected with him. He's going to be out there starting at Packet Pickup all the way through the 50K winners. So kind of keeping the vibe alive. If you're doing the 5K, 10K half marathon, you'll see him at the start finish. If you're doing the 35K or 50K, you'll be looping through multiple times. So it should be just a super fun vibe out there. And yeah, I'm excited to see this one. Again, this is new to our calendar this year. This used to be an endurance race series event. We're putting our own spin on it. We will have race day signups, so you can definitely just sign up on site on race day and hope to see you out there.
It's like the half marathon is a David Roche course record, 1:13, which is pretty wildly fast for a trail race.
Oh yeah, and Stevie Kramer too, who's a great local runner in Colorado. So
both of those are just really fast times.
Yeah. Yeah, this race definitely has history. It was normally held in the daytime before, but we figured with it being, yeah, we can play this video, I guess, really quick. You can see a little bit of the trails, but we figured with it being in August, it would be kind of fun and kind of nice to do something a little bit different and give you guys a night race up there in Denver. So I think, yeah, definitely a lot of the trails are pretty wide. So this is more of a runnable, fast race. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy that one. Would love to hear how it goes. Real quick, just kind of we have White Lake Ultras that just opened for 2026. Wanted to make mention of it. This is a sellout event as well. Good way to kick off the season up there. May 2nd and 3rd, 2026. You can register now. 6, 12, or 24 hour. One of these, another fixed time race, but it's on a trail loop. Yeah, just wanted to announce that's open. I'm going to skip talking about, we'll get into this next week, but I wanted to show off the latest issue of Ultra Running Magazine, talk about our upcoming live stream schedule. But yeah, I don't know if we have any questions in the chat, but I'm probably going to have to bounce out of here in like 3 or 4 minutes. Let's see.
We've touched on
most of it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, awesome. Yeah. So yeah, I think, I guess I just want to thank all of you for tuning in for our first show back. I know it was maybe like we hit a lot of bullet points. We had a couple hiccups. We're going to smooth that out. Would love to hear what you'd like to see in this show. We got a lot of ideas. Hopefully we'll be including some remote or in-studio guests. But yeah, let us know. Hopefully this was helpful just to illustrate a little bit of behind the scenes, what's going on. We want you guys to really feel like you know what's happening with Aravaipa. There is so much to talk about. So hopefully you can find at least a few things in this show that were relevant to you. They just give you a little bit better of a connection to what's going on here. And we look forward to having this platform to discuss all kinds of things happening with Aravaipa in the future as we continue to put on amazing events across the country and growing the trail running community and the running community at large. So thank you so much.